controversy or ridiculous things that they're saying in an effort to weaponize them against Trump, I guess. Like, it literally doesn't matter. So Trump asked his fans in New Hampshire, this is important, if he should do the Fox News debate.
We're so far above everybody else in the polls. They're all saying, is he going to go into the debate? And I say, I don't know. If you're leading by 50 and 60 and 70 points, do you do that or not? I don't know. Should I? Okay, you ready? Poll. We take a free poll. Should I do the debate?
Oh, they all said yes. See, even though they want to glaze him and be like, no, they're still they're just like me. They're so content brains. They're like, come on, please, sir, do it. I want more than anything to watch the trial. I want it to be televised. It'd be so good.
I really hope that's the case. There's another thing, though, that I just thought of for the debate. What if, like, okay, here's the best thing Trump has going for him, right? That for, like, a bunch of voters, he can go out there and go, like, remember the Trump economy, referring to, like, you know, like, let's say 30-month period with, you know, low inflation, high growth, et cetera, et cetera. That works on a lot of people. But you get diminishing returns by people seeing Trump. His personal numbers are, like, horrible. He is an albatross around the neck of the party. I think that the midterms, it was more a reflection of, you know, Dobbs and backfiring culture war upping the ante, but also him. He's, you know, more times than not, he's dragged his party down, you know?
Yeah, that's why they wanted to replace him.
But, like, maybe the strategy on his side is, like, to show him as little as possible. To, you know, soft glide him to the nomination and have him out. Sort of do what Biden did in 2020.
Ooh.
What if that's the strategy?
That could be it, but I feel because he's already clapping in the primaries. He doesn't really even need to be that public. And he already has an automatic publicity from every indictment. Whenever there's another indictment, every Republican has to come out and be like, yeah, this is really crazy. We have to defend Donald Trump. It's like, bro, you're running against him. Like, what the fuck? You're showing you have no backbone. Like, why?
Well, I mean, there's just no lane in that party for being like, yeah, he did break the law. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, there's no lane. Nothing.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. They're completely cooked.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll do something else. You know, see, some people say yes, but they hate to say it because it doesn't make sense to do it if you're leading by so much, but they like it for entertainment value because they're selfish. They're selfish.
I mean, he's right.
We're so far.
He's right, and he should still do it, I think.
The more I think about it, the more I think they're doing the Biden basement strategy. Please show him to the most committed.
I know, but, like, I think part of the reason why Trump kind of fell out of favor was twofold. One, because he was really just adamant about the election being stolen from him. And it was like, I think he went overboard with, he has a really good way of usually tying back his own personal grievances to like a broader conversation about like liberal elite perverts that have like wronged him, but just like they've wronged you in West Virginia, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's normally so good about getting some fucking coal miner family who basically lives in the same house with like internet getting cut off once every 2 weeks to get mad about Graydon Carter.
Right. He can take those people, get them mad about like, you know, whatever issue, and the result is there's enough support to pass like, you know, basically a Reaganomics bill. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whereas the election being stolen from him, I think, got to a point where it was like he was just like too repetitive.
Yeah.
That it wasn't good content.
And not just too repetitive. I mean, there are two things. One, doing that, unfortunately, makes you look like a fucking loser. Even in the case of like 2000, absolutely 100,000% stolen election.
Yeah.
Undebatable. Unfortunately, even though that's the case, it kind of looked like a fucking loser. 2000. If you're like, hey, they stole it. like that's unfortunately, I think one of the reasons that maybe Democrats didn't fight that hard as they should have. The other thing is that the individual things that he's pursued with, his interpretation of election fraud have hurt, like, normally when Republicans have, like, made election fraud or voter fraud, like, an issue, right? There's a coherent strategy they have that's meant to, like, suppress votes that typically go against them, right? With him, it's just this scattershot thing of, like, whatever he sees, and it's so disorganized that it ends up suppressing their own vote. Because he's basically just telling, like, the base and his supporters and people who normally vote for Republicans, hey, they're not going to count your vote. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, don't mail-in vote. They'll throw it away. And, there are other factors, bigger factors that contribute.
Or even, the mail-in, like, being so expressly anti-mail-in ballot is so stupid because it's the only reason why Trump got more votes than any other Republican in the history of the party. It's because of mail-in ballots. Like, that's it. Making it easier for everyone to vote was overall, I guess it yielded some benefits for the Republicans as well. And instead of, like, reconfiguring that structure, they're still so caught up in, like, ensuring that, like, going back to that old election strategy of making sure that as little amount of people vote as possible will always be favorable to them as far as electoral outcomes.
That's no longer the case.
Yeah.
That is huge. That is, I think, the most underrated development that I've only seen a few people talk about. And the only guys who has talked about it at length, to the point that this subject deserves, and germanium, that now, like, turnout, like, low turnout does not necessarily benefit Republicans. That's fucking massive. That kind of changes everything. And I'm really excited for this one. Excited, horrified, bored, etc. Everything you can feel. Because I really don't fucking know. It's like, it's almost like both guys are trying to throw Bidenomics. Why would you do that?
I think they're relying on inflation totally slowing down by the time the election comes around so that they can be like, look, we did it actually. But the reality is, regardless of what happens in the economy, consumers recognizing that is still always going to be kind of vibes based. And also big ticket items are not, they're like things that are not in the consideration when you normally think about consumer goods are still profoundly expensive and impossible to combat. And the externalities from that, like, are highly visible. Homelessness, for example, as a direct problem caused by the housing market. Yes. So if you don't tackle that at all, then people are still not going to, they're just not going to see the economy in the way that you want them to see it. No matter how many fucking Harvard graduates write for the New York Times about how wonderful things are actually, regardless of how you feel about it.
Right. Even if things are in the exact condition they want them in a year from now, it's not like people are going to forget that they experienced negative wage growth. That's not going to happen. That's a huge fucking
Plus,
thing.
it always takes a couple years for people to, like, start recognizing economic changes due to policy. That's the other issue. And then last but not least, no matter what happens, I think people are still, even when the economy's healthy, it's not like people aren't struggling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. If people overlook a lot of things that Trump was capable in a way that a conventional politician would be. Because people always wanted to make him, the exception that proves the rule, et cetera, et cetera. He is this abrogation of the system. But, there are a bunch of conventional things he did and conventional things he was good at. One of them was tying himself to a low inflation, high growth economy, making that weakly tied to him in the minds of infrequent voters and people who vote in presidential elections. He didn't do it like enough your second term, but it's one of his talents that he retains to this day.
Also, even like there was a New York Times poll that was really interesting where like they asked people how they felt about the economy during COVID under the Trump administration, and they felt more positive about the economy then than they do right now, when like demonstrably the economy is doing better now.
Because that was the first time in most people's lives where they actually received the actual assistance of a government safety net when they needed it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it happened under Trump, you know, you can complain. You can say, oh, things aren't as bad as people feel. Oh, well, look at this day. Look, you can say that all you want. That doesn't change what happened. Reality. What people feel, what people remember, what people experienced.
Yeah. I don't think that we go anywhere with people feeling positively about the economy unless we do something about the housing market. And I think that like the notion that only building like luxury high-rise condominiums, there was like a New Yorker article that just came out recently where it was like, well, technically at least rent growth is slowing when there's new development. So why are people upset that they correctly point out that new development still leads to increasing rent?
Right.
It's like, well, you just said it in the article. It does. It still leads to increasing rent. Just because rent growth slows down when there's new development doesn't change that rent growth is still a constant. And in the eyes of a lot of people, they still see like rent going up.
And it has the same problem that the other biggest immiserating factor unique to the housing thing isn't as unique to the American economy as the other thing, healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Healthcare is the way that healthcare immiserates specifically and impoverishes in America is very unique to us. Housing, not so much. We see that in a lot of other places. But you have the same problem with both, which is even if you do exactly what should be done, even if, like, okay, let's say we get exactly what, let's say what I want with healthcare. Let's say we fucking nationalize it, right? Not just Medicare for all. We nationalize it. We nationalize everything. You still, unfortunately, a lot of times, when you build entire sectors of the economy that are based off, like, just graft and unregulated profiteering, you have to pay the piper when you end up popping that balloon. Someone's going to get fucked. It's going to hurt in some way or the other, unfortunately.
Yeah. Healthcare executives, or even like people working in healthcare companies, are going to be harmed by this because not everyone's going to have a job under a nationalized healthcare structure.
Right. I mean, like the healthcare executives, like, look, whatever happens to them, who gives who fucking cares?
We're talking about like,
but like
accountants and
someone,
shit.
Right. Someone who's their only route into like semi-precarious middle classness was like, medical billing. Okay, well, for some people, there will be a need for like a bureaucracy in an American super NHS, right? But it's, there's still going to be some people who just, they're not going to be able to go over. And with housing, this problem where, I mean, yeah,
the backbone.
What we're doing is untenable.
The backbone of American politics is like individual homeowners that see their only mechanism of wealth generation to be their property value steadily increasing.
Yes,
and they are going to see a tangible negative effect from their housing prices decreasing, and that will harm their mortgage opportunities. That will make them feel like they're paying so much more for this product that is no longer as valuable. There's also a bunch of like, small
my mind all over, and I don't want it to end, no. And when we're older, we pretend we're sober, so I'm living it out, feeling so high. And oh, I wanna figure it out.
Mom and pop homeowners, landlords that own like 1 to 9 properties, I think, which make up like the majority of like home ownership in this country.
Yeah.
Those guys hold down local politics like a militia. They are infinitely more powerful than the 3%ers as far as like political momentum and you know, strong arming local politics goes. And I don't know how to deal with that at all.
Yeah.
The problem is not that billionaires will be slightly less billionaire. No, you're missing the point. In the United States of America, there are 18 million millionaires. 18 million. A lot of those people have millions of dollars as a consequence of real estate. Okay? Like pretty much every single person, when you think about their net worth, that has more than $1 million usually has a home that places into their net worth. That's their major asset, right?
And you know, going back a little bit, even if like, you know, okay, let's say like, again, everything, you know, let's say I get exactly what I want again. And like with the healthcare thing, okay, like, yes, there would be a need for tons of jobs. Tons of people would be able to, you know, transfer their jobs from, you know, working from fucking Oscar to working for the American Super NHS. But there would still be some pain because, you know, this was one of the only growth sectors of the American economy. There would still be, you still have to pay the piper. With this, and overall things would be way fucking better. Don't get me wrong. Same thing with housing. Even if overall things are way fucking better, if people feel like if a middle-class person feels like their family is poorer because like, oh, well, like my kids can't get my house, it will be worth like 30 times as much as it is now, you know, when they're my age. If they feel like that's taken away from them and they feel like they're doing worse, well, then, yeah, you've got another problem. Got a whole set of other issues, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no
thing
solution to this in a democratic process. Like it has to be relatively authoritarian. That is just the reality.
And it's the awful thing about like the uniquely immiserating factors of the American economy is that they are set up in such a way that, you know, massive changes to them to change the exact things that make them so wrong and fucked up will cause, you know, you're going to have to pay the piper in the short and medium term just because of how things have been set up, fortunately.
Yeah.
And all we can say is if you're an officer, a mid-level officer in the military right now, start reading the Hugo Chavez or Gaddafi biography. Just joking. Joking.
You're still going along with the charismatic military guy who gets captivated.
It's the only fucking thing I can think of. Right? That's the only thing. That is the only thing. I'm kidding. If you are a mid-level officer in the military right now, put down that copy of your Dodge
David Goggins
Hellcat fucking user manual, whatever they call it. Put it down. Pick up the Gaddafi biography. Okay, have you read it? You've read the Green Book. Put it down. Put down the Green Book. Buy the Resident Evil 4 remake. Have fun. I'm not suggesting anything else. Let's keep doing the American democracy forever.
Yeah. We would never.
Yes.
Who knows? Who knows how that works out?
Who knows? Yeah, we'll see.
There's no way to achieve this with democratic process, but it would take more effort to educate the public and fight disinformation. I mean, it doesn't matter because like the awesome power that California, the state that we currently reside in, is a perfect example of this. $80 billion budget surplus, billions of dollars of funds generated specifically through numerous ballot measures that are democratically voted on, that are infinitely more popular than any fucking California congressperson, that directly are there to address the problem of homelessness, okay? Every fucking year, Californians go out, every 2 years, every 4 years, we go out and we vote for yet another additional tax that will directly fund some anti-homelessness initiative. And I don't mean like, put homeless people in camps and kill them, like Project Home Key, Project Room Key. These are all different various initiatives to combat homelessness. And it's not a consequence of a lack of funds for this problem, is what I'm trying to say. It's a consequence of every single one of these initiatives stop dead in its tracks when they're actually trying to start the process. And Gavin Newsom certainly is not the charismatic leader that is interested in putting his foot down and being like, no, I want to be president one day, so I am going to say fuck you. No, we are utilizing these hotels. Like, fuck you, eminent domain, bitch, suck my dick. He's not that guy. He didn't get to the point that he got to. He didn't sling that much dick for no reason. You know what I mean?
Who in the fucking world is going to watch the Newsom DeSantis?
I
don't even think I'm going to watch it.
I will watch it. We will watch it.
I guess I will.
We will be there.
If not for professional reasons, I would not watch it.
That's one of those
Christ.
That's one of those debates that like every dude with like every dude that's like sock them.
Yeah. Anyone with an EU flag who's never left America.
Yeah. Sock them. Loyalist to Slava Ukraine. I'm a urbanist. Blah blah blah. Like all of those accounts, some of which are in here right now, are going to go crazy over it. They're going to go nutty with it.
Yeah. And I get it if I were them, because it's like, I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way, but I favor Newsom and DeSantis just because of DeSantis, Charlie Crist, and Andrew fucking Gillum, on a Molly come down. They both almost made him cry.
Yeah. No,
what is gruesome Gavin al-Assad?
No, he's gonna be like, your wife looks hot. Guess what? I fucked her in the bathroom. It will be real.
Yeah, no.
For Gavin Newsom, it will be real.
DeSantis is about to have a third child with a uniquely DNC glint in his eye.
He's gonna come out of the womb woke, dude.
Yeah.
He's gonna be doing land acknowledgments at the fucking at the delivery room.
He's going to have the Jon Snow of Florida.
Yeah.
Casey DeSantis is who was Ned Stark's sister? Whatever her fucking name was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, whatever. Casey DeSantis or Gavin Newsom is a Targaryen. Look at his silver hair.
Exactly. Oh, man.
Lyanna Stark. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm Ron DeSantis and I'm cancer wife guy, and that's like the only thing that is like literally the one tangible thing that like the media is pointing to about the best thing about me. I am not putting my wife anywhere near in the same zip code as the most notorious adulterer who does it as an Olympic sport. It's like Ariana Grande, Gavin Newsom, okay? Yeah. Serial cheaters. Watch out.
Gruesome. No one's touching gruesome Gavin.
Yeah.
He's the fucking best at it.
He was so good at it that when the Larry Elder, like Gavin Newsom recall thing was coming out, there was quite literally attack ads about Gavin Newsom with that fucking old guy who was like, Gavin Newsom looks like the type of guy who would steal your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, good at one thing. He'll never fucking be president. He's fucking weird for the rest of the country, but I don't know. He'll be something.
He's too much like a Patrick Bateman type. Like he doesn't have the riz or the like down to earth nature of a Big Gretch even, or JB Pritzker. You know what I mean?
I mean, in like, I don't know, liberal Ender's Game where California like breaks away. Okay, he could be. I could see him being like the Maria Teresa, California Republic, maybe.
Oh yeah, no, he
for life.
Yeah,
but president, no, that's less likely. Far less likely.
He does look like he is the president in like a shitty movie.
Yeah,
He has a look for it.
He's like, he's the president, not even in a movie, like in a Ghost Recon game. Like, not even in like a A-tier Tom Clancy game franchise. He's an Ubisoft human being.
Yeah, he's like too presidential looking to actually be president.
He's going to be in a fucking Assassin's Creed game. He's president. He's probably already in one. There's probably one where, like, the one that's coming out, he probably addresses the player. And it's like, the California Democrats are aligned with the assassins.
Yeah. What is this? How can you be tough on China when they're literally paying you a lot of money? What is this?
And Crooked Joe, he's more interested in where's the money coming from. To him, he's interested to him. How about all these things with the 30 corporations and the this and the that, the money flowing in?
Dude, he's not even trying here. What the fuck? Come on, dude. Come on, put some oomph in it. That's crazy. He's like, with the this and the that and the yada yada. You get my fucking point. Oh, Jesus. Trump promised to restore his ban on transgender troops and suggests that generals off the record would deride transgender troops to him. Trump, every time you get indicted, I like to check the polls. Yeah.
But he did. And then I had to get him through Gillum. Remember Gillum? He turned out to be a pothead, crackhead. But everybody thought he was the hottest one.
Wasn't he? It was meth, right?
It was meth and Molly, yeah.
Yeah, but he's black, so that's why I think he's saying crack. He like, but not even to be racist because he is racist. So in his mind, he's like, he's a black guy. He probably did crack. He can't remember.
Yeah, I just like Gillum. Saying that Gillum was like the hottest prospect at one point,
but
no one thought that.
No, but like the Democratic Party was actually like. You know how they have some guys in the pocket?
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, we're gonna groom these guys to be like the next Obama. It was obviously a miscalculation on their front, regardless. But
that wasn't Gillum, though.
You don't think so?
No, he was not supposed to win that. That it was like a historical accident that he won that. It was sort of just a consequence of how fucked up and junky the Florida Democratic Party was. Their preordained candidate did not win. They wanted Bill Nelson's daughter party, but they basically split the center vote.
I could have sworn I've seen like articles that they were like propping him up as like the next Obama because like, he's black.
After he won the nomination, probably because they're like, oh, shit, we gotta work with this. But it was like he was not their first choice.
Carrie Lake, who campaigned in Ohio for this week for Amendment 1, says the election tonight was rigged. Yeah, very suspicious that the most unpopular policy was defeated once again in yet another referendum. So much so that like Republicans are. This is what's shocking about this is like I guess this was their last Hail Mary, like their last second Hail Mary to like inevitably try to stop a ballot measure that would definitely galvanize the base, get people out to go and vote. That would also protect abortion. But like even then, didn't they learn from what was it? Is Kansas, right?
Yeah,
and Kentucky too.
Well, with Kansas, there has historically been more vibrant pro-choice there than people remember or realize. I think with Ohio, maybe they thought it would be different. Maybe they thought like
it's the northern Florida.
Yeah, but I'm more interested